The restaurant staff mocked my resume, not knowing I was a Michelin-starred chef. The kitchen manager held my application between two fingers and read it aloud to the prep cooks, crowding the stainless steel workstation. Alex Foster, line cook experience at Denny's and Red Lobster, seeking entry-level position. He paused for the snickering to die down before continuing. Says here, he can dice an onion and make basic sauces. 3 years at franchise restaurants. Miguel Torres was his name. Tattooed forearms crossed over his chef's coat, gold chain glinting under the fluorescent lights. He looked at me standing in the doorway of Giovanni's kitchen, my borrowed dress shirt too tight around the collar. We're a fine dining establishment, my man. We're not teaching people how to brunoise vegetables or make a proper demi-glace. You ever work with fresh pasta? Ever butchered a whole fish? I said I was willing to learn quickly and work any shift they needed. Miguel exchanged glances with the sous chef, a woman named Carla Brennan, who'd been chopping shallots with aggressive precision since I walked in. She said Giovanni's had a 6-month waiting list for reservations and charged $200 per person for the tasting menu. They needed people who could execute complex dishes under pressure, not fast food refugees looking for a paycheck. I told them I understood and asked if they had any dishwashing positions available. That seemed to amuse Miguel even more. He said dishwashing paid $12 an hour and started at 5 in the morning for prep work. Was I really that desperate? I said yes, I was exactly that desperate. He studied my face for signs I was joking, then shrugged and told Carla to get me an application for the back of house positions. She pulled a grease-stained form from under the prep station and slid it across the counter. Miguel said if I showed up Monday at 5 sharp and didn't complain about the work, they'd give me a trial week. But one missed shift or attitude problem, and I was gone. I thanked him and filled out the application using the name I'd been living under for 8 months. Alex Foster, not Alessandro Moretti, the chef who'd once held 3 Michelin stars at Vetro in Manhattan, and whose face had been on the cover of Food and Wine magazine before everything collapsed. The signature felt wrong, fake, just another lie in the elaborate fiction I'd constructed to stay invisible. Miguel took the completed form and said he'd see me Monday, and to wear non-slip shoes because the floors got treacherous during service. I walked out through the dining room where servers were setting tables with expensive linens and crystal stemware, and I felt the ghost of who I'd been haunting every step. Giovanni's occupied a converted warehouse in Portland's Pearl District, exposed brick walls and Edison bulbs, the kind of calculated industrial chic that attracted tech money and food bloggers. I'd scouted it for 3 weeks before applying, sitting in coffee shops across the street and watching the clientele arrive in Tesla sedans and designer jeans. The owner was Giovanni Russo, a second-generation Italian immigrant who'd built a restaurant empire across 5 cities, known for aggressive expansion and ruthless cost management. His Portland location had opened 18 months ago to rapturous reviews and immediate profitability. The menu featured handmade pastas and locally sourced ingredients at prices that made even wealthy diners wince. But the reservations kept coming, the Instagram posts multiplied, and Giovanni's became the place to be seen eating in Portland. I needed work that wouldn't attract attention, that wouldn't require references from my previous life, where I could disappear into the anonymous machinery of a busy kitchen. Dishwashing was perfect. Nobody looked twice at the person scrubbing pots. My previous life had ended on a Saturday evening in March when 12 diners at Vetro experienced severe food poisoning from contaminated oysters. By Sunday morning, 3 were hospitalized with kidney failure. By Monday, 1 was dead. Eleanor Whitfield, 72 years old, grandmother of 6, dead from Vibrio vulnificus septicemia, traced directly to the raw oysters she'd eaten at my restaurant. The health department investigation revealed catastrophic failures in my supply chain oversight. The oysters came from a distributor I'd used for 3 years, but their refrigeration had failed during transport, and nobody had caught it before service. The temperature logs were falsified. The visual inspection was inadequate. 12 people nearly died, and 1 actually did because I'd trusted a supplier without verification. The media coverage was immediate and merciless. Celebrity chef's negligence kills patron. 3 Michelin stars can't save you from food poisoning. The lawsuits came next, a cascade of legal actions that bankrupted Vetro and destroyed my savings. My wife left, taking our daughter and filing for divorce with accusations about my obsessive work habits and emotional absence. The Michelin Guide stripped my stars. Food and Wine ran a retraction article. My name became synonymous with culinary negligence and corporate greed. What nobody reported, what I couldn't prove, was that my sous chef, Thomas Brennan, had accepted kickbacks from the distributor to overlook quality issues. I discovered the arrangement 3 weeks before the poisoning incident when I found cash payments documented in Thomas's locker. I confronted him and he denied everything, said I was paranoid, that the money was from a side catering business. I fired him anyway, and that's when things got a lot worse. Full story is linked below or on my channel.